guys, welcome to Little Apple Learning. I have a really croaky voice today because we had our school trivia night last night and I was singing very loudly in order for us to win. Although we didn't win, but it was a good effort, and that is why I have a really croaky voice, so I apologise for that. So today's video is going to be focusing on how to achieve a balance as a teacher. It's really aimed at teachers and graduates, although other people might find it useful too. And it's really come and stemmed from the video that I made last week and the response I've had to that, which was about how to survive as a graduate teacher. So as you know, teaching can be one of those jobs that is really all-consuming, and it can really just veer into different areas of your life. But I think it's really important to achieve a balance. And I feel with the rise in social media accounts dedicated to teaching, it's very easy to start letting teaching consume lots of different areas in your life, which can be a great thing, but also can be a bit of a negative thing too. In terms of planning and organising yourself for your classroom, I found that what works for me, and this might be different for you, but what works for me is putting aside one night of the week when I let myself stay back at school sort of as long as I need to in order to get all my planning done, all my photocopying done for the week ahead. And so I do that on a Thursday night because we have meetings earlier in the week. And that way I know that anything I need to get done, I can do on that night. Obviously, I have other days of the week when I have to take work home, and I might have to get to school early some days to get work done as well. But by just having that one day and making sure that I must finish my planning on that day, I must get my photocopying done that day, and telling myself that, I'm able to feel like I'm organised for the week ahead. And that way, if I'm away or I'm sick, then my classroom is all organised, my plan is there, everything is ready to go. It took me literally about 4 years to come to that conclusion, that doing it one night a week was easier than doing it over, a little bit each night. For me, that's what works the best, because I found I was taking work home on a Saturday and spending a lot of the weekend planning or going into school, and I just felt like it was really taking over my weekends, and I don't think that's good either, because then you don't have as much energy when you're at school. I feel like you need the downtime. So that's just a tip that I do, and that's something that might be useful for you. Something else that I try and do is really ensure that I set aside time and schedule time for my other hobbies. I think with Instagram and blogging and things like that, it's very easy to start letting thoughts about teaching just drift into your mind all the time, and you're always thinking about what would make a good blog post or what would make a good Instagram post and what people would find useful and what would look good. And that can be great, and that's sort of the joy of all those social media accounts, but I think it can also be detrimental because you start stressing about teaching and it starts to feel like it's all you're doing. So for me, I think I really benefit when I'm regularly exercising. So I try to set myself goals that require me to have set times in the week to get exercise done. So I'm doing a half marathon next weekend for the first time. I'm freaking out, but it's been great because I've had to do scheduled training a couple of times a week, and I've known that I can't miss that. So it's given me something else to focus on and another goal to focus on. Maybe you're someone who finds it a lot easier to relax than me, but I just find I'm somebody who is always needing the next goal and thinking about the next thing to do. So that just is what I find really. Something else that I think is super important is having scheduled time to socialise and see your friends and build your relationships. I know that sometimes I tend to use up my niceness at school, and when I come home I'm a bit grumpy or I've had a bad day, I might be a bit stressed and I'm not as nice and loving to my family and don't make enough time for my friends. So I try to make sure that on the weekends I put that time aside to see my family and friends, and I have sort of scheduled social events that I do during the week. So I have a girls' dinner that we do every week and try to make that really regular so that I have that downtime. I think that can be something that can easily be pushed to the side when you feel like the pressure's on and you've got a lot to do. And Look, during report times and stuff like that, it tends to be a bit different, but I try to maintain it as much as I can, because I think if you're having fun on the weekends and you're able to have lots of close relationships, school doesn't just become your life. And I think that's something that can really easily happen, especially as just when you're starting out as a teacher and you feel quite overwhelmed. Something else I would really recommend is, apart from having a sort of fitness hobby, if you can, and it can be very hard to fit in, but try and have something else on the go too that's really regular. So that could be a book club, or it could be, I don't know, really anything. If you've got a dog, you might be doing something, to do with your dog, or doing a craft, or, cooking, anything like that that's something that's just for you. It could be, even setting aside time to watch makeup videos on YouTube, or anything that's a different interest apart from school and that's just for you, and if you've got time for it. I think that's really important as well, because the more balanced you are and the more of a healthy headspace you have when you're not at school, the better teacher you will be when you're at school, and the more energy you'll have, the more fun you'll be around, and the more organised you'll be. So that's something else that I would really recommend, because that's what works for me. So I hope this has been useful. I'd love to find out ways that other people manage and balance their teaching so that they don't become burnt out. Teaching is probably one of the only careers that has a huge dropout rate in the first 5 years. I think people can go in very gung-ho and just be so over-enthusiastic, but the joys are high with teaching, but the stresses are high. So I'd love to find out ways that you manage that balance, things that you do, any extra ideas that you think could benefit other people, and write them in the comments section below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I'd love to keep making more videos that really cater to what people want to find out about teaching and early learning. So please subscribe, comment below, and you can find me on Instagram at Little Apple Learning. And I will catch you soon. Enjoy. It's a really sunny day in Melbourne, so enjoy. Bye.